dear friend and partner, Richard Smith. Richard, how you doing, man? All the way down there from, what, Katy, Texas, right?
Yep, Scotty, I'm doing awesome. Thank you so much.
Excellent. I know you are, man, and that's why you're here, and I want you to share why you're doing awesome. You're a huge inspiration for me, and I appreciate you taking time out and sharing what you do on a daily basis to get your mind right, get your body right, and just like have the most healthiest, a successful day that you could have by starting out first thing in the morning with just a couple little things, and I'm sure you have a lot more than that. But man, take it away. I'm here to take notes. I always get something out of this class. I've seen a little bit of it down in Florida when we were there, and dude, I appreciate you being here and sharing with everybody.
Well, cool. Thank you so much. Yeah, I definitely have some things that are very different that I want to talk about, and some things that I do, and I've been doing for a few years now that have made a huge impact, not just in my life, but in my business. You know, what we do personally, what we do for ourselves, transcends so much into our business and income, and sometimes we don't think about it that way, because not only does it help with focus, it helps with energy. And I like to use that analogy. If you, whenever you fly, and they talk about if the cabin loses air pressure, you know, we're supposed to put that oxygen mask over our face before our children or before any elderly people or somebody that needs our help. And the reason is we have to take care of ourselves first to make sure we can take care of other people. So I'm real passionate about a lot of the stuff that I'm going to talk about today, and some of it might seem a little weird, or you know, some things that aren't normally done day to day, but these things really have had a huge impact.
Right on, man. Right on.
So again, my name is Richard Smith. I'm down here in Katy, Texas, and I do quite a few classes, and I help a lot of the local realtors grow their business and have more freedom. So I'm just going to go right into it. And basically, what I like to, on this type of class, what I like to talk about is we have so many tools, strategies, widgets, things that help us grow our business, and things that help you all grow your business: lead generation, open house strategies, listing, expired listings, FSBOs. There's just a lot of strategies. In my case, I teach a lot of classes. I help a lot of people. I'm passionate about that. I do videos, and it's not only those things that have changed my life and my business and my income, but it's the rituals and the habits that I started a few years ago. And so I'm going to kind of go into each of the things that I've had, the rituals that I have, because it's not just first thing in the morning ritual, but I have several rituals that I follow each day, from the morning to the evening to the end of the week. So I'm going to kind of go through each of those. And just real quick, a ritual is an established or prescribed procedure. Wikipedia says it's a sequence of activities involving gestures, words, objects performed. It's basically, the word ritual came from the religious format, that when there is a ritual, it's something that is done 100% of the time and consistent. So it's just like habits. I don't know, Scotty, if you know, you've heard the statistic that I think in the first 2 weeks of the new year, like 10% of all people already broke their New Year's resolutions.
Broke it, yes. I think it is higher than 10%.
It probably is. I know
it was higher than 10%. Yeah.
Yeah, I know by like 4 to 5 months, it's over 60%. And so these things, it's very hard to start a habit, and the main way that I broke through that and did these things and made them into a habit is, even when I didn't want to do them and didn't feel like it, that's when I did it. And it's like anything, when you get to a certain point, and some people say 3 weeks, some say 30 days, some say 6 weeks, but when you get to that point where the habit is already ingrained and it becomes a ritual, that it's almost impossible not to do it. And that's that point that you have to break through, because there's so many times you don't feel like it, but when you break through and it becomes that habit, then man, it's nice, because you can't not do it, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Because the key is consistency, and we all know that with business, with our personal lives. A lot of, everybody that is a real estate agent or a mortgage loan officer really basically is self-employed. So without consistency, that's when we start to see a lot of the roller coaster in our businesses, and so the key to this part is consistency. And so I'll go into some of the rituals that I do. The first ritual that I do daily is my morning success ritual. And just kind of to give you guys an idea of what I do, I'm just going to kind of go through this real quick. One of the things that I read some statistics, and I've seen some things that, and with doctors and nutritionists, things like that, they talk about dehydration, and statistics say that about 80% of people are dehydrated in our country, and that accounts for so many different ailments, but especially like headaches. And I used to get
Tiredness too, right? I mean, there's a lot of things that,
Yes.
and one of the things you told me, Richard, man, that I never even thought about is we wake up dehydrated, and if we don't grab, water first thing in the morning, that it could dictate how the rest of our day goes. Tiredness.
Exactly. Because we do, as we sleep, we dehydrate. So that's why a good friend of mine told me, drink 12 ounces of water first thing in the morning, first thing. And so that's what I do, and I will tell you, I'm somebody that had headaches almost every day of my life, and I probably have one headache every 2 months or so.
Very good. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I attribute that to not being dehydrated, because when I read that statistic, it just amazed me that we're dehydrated. I mean, if we're drinking sodas and even a lot of caffeinated drinks, that they dehydrate us. So we usually, the majority of people don't drink enough water, but that 12 ounces first thing in the morning, it really does set the day right. So I do that, and then I actually do usually 30 to 45 minutes of exercise. I'll do cardio, and then every other day I do weights, and the other days I do abs and things like that. And when I first started my morning success ritual, just to kind of give everybody an idea, you're talking about the day one that I started this ritual, it had been probably somewhere between 20 and 25 years of not exercising and not, I've done some of these things obviously, but as far as exercising and really taking care of myself, it probably 20 to 25 years. So I was very unhealthy. Sometimes we kind of go day to day, and we feel tired, and I did this, and I hear a lot of people do this, is I basically would say, well, that's part of getting old. The older you get, the more tired you get. It's just part of being old, and it really isn't, because the way I feel now and the energy level and focus that I have now is like back in my 20s. So I now do that for just 45 minutes, 30 to 45 of exercise, and I started off just doing cardio, lost about 25 pounds, and so now I do lifting and core and all of that. But what I do is, to try to knock out two birds with one stone, is I listen to self-talk, and then I have an app called Audible that allows you to purchase books, and the entire book is read to you, usually by the author. So I listen to books, so I'm basically reading while I'm exercising, which is always good, because most of us don't have time to read. So if you're somebody that doesn't have time to actually sit down and read a book, this is a great way with audio. And I know I've you, Scotty, and other friends of ours that listen to audio, through that Audible app, and it is just awesome because you hook.
Love the Audible app, man. And the cool part about that, just like a quickie about Audible, you can send audiobook. I have the monthly subscription, so I get credits every month, and every credit dictates a book. So I love to send gifts to my friends and whoever I work with. If they mention something or I think of a good book that they could benefit from, it's really easy to send them a free gift as far as a book. And if you're on the monthly subscription thing, it doesn't cost you anything. I mean, it does cost you. It's very inexpensive to do the monthly thing.
It's like nine.
I have a ton of audiobooks. I try to listen to an hour a day of audiobooks, some way, shape, or form, and it's amazing how that gets your mind going in the right direction. I love Gary Vay. I'm listening to the 80-20 book right now. There's just all kinds of really cool stuff that you can just kind of keep the, because dude, stuff happens in our lives, right? Everything, I mean, something always happens in our lives. So if you can just some way, shape, or form keep that negative out. I stopped watching the news, which helped tremendously because how often is there good news on TV, right?
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't watched the news in I think 7 years.
Wow, good for you, man. Good for you. Yep.
People always ask me, how do you know what's going on? And, just word of mouth, and now, Facebook, you see some of the news. But I seem to know what's going on, and, and I, study financial stuff and things like that. But as far as you're 100% right. The news is very negative. So
everything, yep.
But so then after that I stretch. Then I actually do a meditation, and this sound, for probably my entire life I would have thought that's the weirdest thing I ever heard. You see people meditating. It seems very strange. But I will tell you, I use a guided meditation, and you can get free apps that do it. You can search in your app Silva meditation, and there's free ones, and it basically guides you through. They're about 10 to 15 minutes long, and so after my workout, I will do that meditation. And let me tell you, Scott, that alone has, how you feel when you're stressed out and you're working and you have you have clients you're taking care of, you have all these things to do. It's like you can't get it out of your mind. And have you ever noticed that towards the end of the day it's harder to focus than first thing in the morning? And
absolutely. Absolutely.
Because our minds, they basically get full, and then it's very hard to make decisions later on in the day because, studies have shown that our minds get full, and our decision making becomes less and less as the day goes. So when I started doing this guided meditation, it really truly clears your mind and helps you focus. And so not only do I do physical exercise for my body, but I do this meditation, and it's just like exercising your mind. And so that has really, really done wonders. And you're talking about 10 or 15 minutes in the morning. After that, I do 2 different little journal entries, and they're both apps also. The Day One app is just a journal app that it does so many different things. It's really cool, and you can just write for a few minutes. The next one I do, it's an app that has you write 3 things. Number 1, I'll put in there 3 things that I'm grateful for today. And so whatever comes to my mind, I put in 3 things that I'm grateful for. The second is 3 goals, 3 things I want to achieve today, and I'll put those 3 in. And then the third one is just to write or type in my phone different affirmations, positive things that I see or that I really what I want to achieve. And so I do that daily. It takes me only a few minutes. And then at that time I do take a shower. And so once I take a shower, I make breakfast. And the breakfast that I've made, and I've done this since a mentor of mine had taught me that about a 400-calorie breakfast, especially after working out, will just totally start your day out the right way. And basically in my green smoothie, just to kind of go over it real briefly, is I'll either put spinach or kale, one or the other, in a blender, pineapple, bananas, blueberries, different things like that. I'll put in 30 grams of whey protein, and that alone, if somebody wanted to lose weight, they could just take 30 grams of whey protein in the first 30 minutes of waking up, and you'll lose weight just doing that consistently. 7 days.
Tell me about that. Yeah.
Yeah, within 30 days. And that's Timothy Ferriss. He's done a lot of studies on that, and it really just takes your body from, most of us in the mornings, we start our day drinking coffee or a Coke or a Diet Coke or something, and our bodies kind of go into starvation mode, and so we start hanging on to fat to make sure we have energy later in the day. And so just by that protein first thing in the morning, 30 minutes and 30 grams, it counteracts that, and so you start losing weight. So, and then I put in either coconut water or almond milk, and I blend it up, and it's about 400 calories, but it is, by that time, I am just energized and, ready for the day. And then that's when I'll usually, talk with the family and then head out to work. I did add on the slide Bulletproof 40-40-20, and basically a guy put out
That's some good coffee, man.
Bulletproof
is coffee, right?
The Bulletproof is the Bulletproof coffee by the same author that wrote the book Bulletproof Diet. And it's just it's real natural, and there's no mold and things in the coffee like the normal store brand coffee. The Bulletproof Diet, not to go too detailed into it, but 40-40-20 is my goal that I'm trying to get to, and it's basically 40% of our food that we eat should be from fruits and vegetables, 40% should be proteins, and 20% processed foods, which we know that majority of the grocery store is processed. And so, in his book, he talks about if you ate this way, you would never need a diet, and you would never, be out of overweight or out of shape. It's just the way our bodies are made to accept, I guess. So basically, that morning ritual that I do takes me, I get up at 5:30 in the morning, and I usually leave for work around 7:30. So everything altogether is about 2 hours, but before that, I got up at 7:30, and took a shower, grabbed a Diet Coke, and went to work. Yeah, and so I'm getting to work and starting my day at the same time, but I'm feeling, 100% different and better.
Yeah, one of the audio books I'm listening to right now is The 4-Hour Body by Tim Ferriss.
Yep.
That's an awesome, dude, that guy's awesome, and it just has so many great points in there about how some of us, I think most of us, overdo what we need to do to get the desired result.
Right.
So he talks about how you really don't need to overdo it, how you could do minimal effort or minimal stuff to get the desired result, which is whatever the result is. Yeah,
he calls it minimum effective dose. And that's exactly where I got the 30 grams of whey protein in 30 minutes, because that's the minimum effective dose. So it wouldn't help you to take 60 grams, and you definitely don't want to take 20 grams. It's just that minimum dose. So yeah, his workouts consist of that. Or in that book, he had a, man, I'm not 100% sure, but he had a 95-pound girl that was lifting like 250, and she only trained for 10 minutes a day. And it's that minimum effective dose that you only need a certain amount of workout to hit that 100% mark. So a lot of people overwork out, and it's not doing their bodies any good.
Exactly, it's not doing any good. Correct. Yeah, he talks about one example he gave was boiling water, because water boils at whatever temperature.
Right.
He goes, is it boiling any more at a higher temperature? No, it's still boiling. So he talks about when you do work out. He talks about the burnout workout where you burn your muscles out. And he did this actually, the 4-Hour Body, and I think he worked out 4 hours a month. I think it was 1 hour a week, was it, or was it 4 hours a week? 4 hours a month. Yeah. And he had the same results as he did working out every day that he used to do.
Exactly.
So it was pretty cool. So.
And that's even why this morning success ritual, I've known people who do it in the entire thing in 30 minutes. And so it's just all broken down, because they say even if you work out, if you get on a treadmill for 10 minutes a day and you're just consistent with it, you're far, far ahead than most people, because a lot of times we'll work out really hard and then we'll, take a week off or 3 weeks off.
Right.
And so, yeah, even if it's just 10 minutes a day, it's huge.
Huge.
I'm going to talk real quick, and this is something that I've just recently been doing, but it really works, and it a lot of people think this is a little weird, but in my shower, I take a shower, and people say, take a cold shower, it's good for you. Well, you know what? I don't want to take a cold shower because it's cold. Who wants to do that every night? But what they talk about is, have you ever noticed that, okay, at night, if you take a really warm shower, take a regular shower at night, it helps you sleep, right? Because we take a shower and we go to bed and you feel comfortable. So hot showers kind of slow your body down, and so they do the opposite effect of what you want to do in the morning. So what I do is, it's 90 seconds. I take my regular shower, and when I'm done with my regular shower, then I will turn the water to cold for 30 seconds. And believe me, it's cold, but it does wake you up. Now, I'll turn it back to hot for 30 more seconds, and then back to cold for 30 seconds before I get out of the shower. And so what those studies have shown is, not only does it reduce stress and make you, it wakes you up. And so not only does it wake you up, but it increases your white blood cell count and strengthens your immune system. And it's because you're going from that hot cold, and your body's trying to fight that. So it increases that disease-fighting white blood cells, which is really good for you. And what I thought was really cool is it improves your blood circulation, because your arteries and veins constrict when it goes from that hot to cold to hot to cold. And so your blood flow, the pressure goes up and helps with that flow. So it really helps the blood circulation. And then it actually increases the ability to burn fat. And what it does is it says creates burn energy, but what I meant, it's brown energy, which, I have no idea what that means, but they say that these brown energy does burn fat, so it does that. And then, it says aids in battling depression, but just the fact of, for 90 seconds a day, if one or all of these things are true, it's definitely worth doing.
Awesome. Yeah, worth a shot.
And I've been doing it, and it definitely it wakes me up. So I mean, I'm already awake. It really gets me going. Yeah. So this is what I do at the end of the day, but I have another slide, and I'm going to go into detail on it, because this is something I do at the end of each day. But what I do want to point out, one thing that I haven't done yet, and I know that there's a lot of real estate agents on the call, and this is very close to everybody's heart, but one thing I have not done yet, and let's just say I did my morning ritual, I had breakfast, I'm on my way to work, whether that's meeting with somebody or going to my office. But one thing I have not done yet is I have not checked my email. And this is, I'm not going to get up on my soapbox, but this has made huge differences in my life and my ability to sleep at night. Is I don't check my email when I first wake up, and I don't check my email the last thing before I go to bed. And so in the morning, I definitely don't check my email yet, because once you check that email, and I don't know about everybody, but I start to get stressed out. And so Brendan Burchard, he made and at the bottom of my little pre-leave ritual that I'll go into detail in a minute, he made a comment, your inbox is nothing more than a convenient organization system for other people's agendas. And so we've got to focus on what we need to get done for the day. And so I haven't checked my email yet, so we'll keep going. When I do check my email, and I know a lot of agents, this probably isn't possible to only time block it twice a day, because I know you're waiting on contracts, you're waiting on offers, things like that. I've actually gotten to the point where I will check my email twice a day, 11 to 4. But if you are in a situation that you definitely need to check it, you can kind of go into your email, scan it, scan it between your time blocks just to look for something important that you have to get done or delegate or even schedule, and then go back to that time block when you're going to go clear your email. And since I've been doing this, it has made a huge, huge difference in not just stress level, but I'm not wasting time constantly checking email, which a lot of people do. And a lot of times I'll have people ask me, you know, could you lose a could you lose a deal that way, or are you going to be someone that is known as not being ignored if you don't respond quickly? And I will tell you that I've changed that expectation. So I give anyone I talk to, whether it's clients, real estate agents, I give that expectation up front, letting them know that, you know, if you send an email, if you send it at 6 o'clock at night, I may not get it until 11 o'clock the next day. So if it's something important and needs to be taken care of, definitely call me or text. And email it's important, but it's become that where it really is an organization system for other people's agendas, and you've got to control your day enough to where it doesn't control you. So, and then I do a few minutes in the morning to post to social media. And so,
you know, I think one thing I did, Richard, is I took that a step further. Is I actually hired somebody to manage my email for me, where I don't. I still go there, but when I go there, it's almost all taken care of, and so that I don't get the spam, I don't get whatever is bad. I have somebody, and I don't share my login and password. I use LastPass to share my login. Actually, Gmail is what I use, and it's really easy to share your account with somebody that they go in and look at it. So it's been really good. I've also one little trick that I've learned, that I think that I know you know about in Gmail or Outlook. It allows you to filter. Like, so say you get a client in, and you know that if that client calls you and you have a team in place, that you're really not the person best suited to answer the call anyway. Your team is. So once I set up something in the system, and once I have a client, I automatically forward those emails to my team, so that if they can take care of them. I did that with my voicemail as well, and that was a huge, huge, huge thing for me. So every one of my voicemails that comes in goes to my team, and if they can take care of it, they take care of it. Then nobody waits for anything, because somebody's always watching my email.
Exactly.
So that's, I would highly recommend that if you, and maybe we'll do a class on Google Voice or whatever, but be able to forward your voicemails when they come in. So when you are with clients, or you're in your focus time or money-making activity time, your calls still get answered. Yeah.
Exactly. Because really, and I'm going to go into some time blocking, and so that is perfect in that situation. And when I do go into my email time blocks, I have this screen here. I actually print it, and it's sitting on, it's near my computer in my home office and near my computer in my office. And I still look at it, because you've got to stay focused, and you can really get through your whole inbox and go to inbox 0 quickly. And all you do is you look at an email, and it's only two things. It's either actionable or non-actionable. So if it is actionable, if you can do it under 2 minutes, then just do it. Or you delegate it and send it off, or defer it, which is, it's going to be a task, so it either goes on a task checklist or on the calendar as an appointment, and I'm going to show a little bit. And then if it's not actionable, you can either delete it or just save it for later for reference. And when I go through and all my emails this way, just to go to inbox 0, it does not take much time at all. So
very quick. Yep.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. And then, like you said, anytime automated or having a team email where everybody sees it. Then when you're going through them, they've already been taken care of by your team, which is awesome. And then, like you said, if you have somebody or a virtual assistant that helps with that, it's actually the only thing my virtual assistant does not help me with is my email. I think it's just because I'm a control freak with email, but with the calendar, it does. And I'm going to go over a little bit Essentialism. It is a book that I just got done reading, and a lot of times I'll read a book and then also get the audio at the same time. So I'm actually listening to it too, but he goes over a lot of similar to like the 80-20, and I know a lot of people here understand the 80-20, and Scotty, you've done some classes on it, but it definitely talks about the distractions and being able to say no. And then I saw this quote from Warren Buffett: the difference between successful people and very successful people is that the very successful say no to almost everything. And really, it's focusing on that 20% that's bringing us 80% of whatever that result. So 20% of what we do every day is bringing us 80% of our results in our business. So 20% of the things that we're doing is bringing us 80% of our income. And so figuring out
dude,
what
this works for everything, man. Like 20% of the roads, 80% of our 80% of us travel on 20% of the roads.
Yep.
20% of the fish are in 80% of the water. Here's the crazy part. I'm reading this 80-20 book right now, or listening to it rather. But think about this 80-20. This 80-20 rule is so real. So if you did a list of all the stuff you do during the day, and then you pick out what is truly making your money, you're going to find out that 20% of your activity is responsible for 80% of your income. Well, think about the 20% inside the 20% that's responsible for 80% of the 20%. I know it's kind of confusing when I say that, but that gets really, because what you'll find out is 2 or 3 things are responsible for the 20% inside the 20% that it really gets streamlined down to what you should be focusing on a daily basis that's responsible for, oh my God, like everything. So it's crazy when you look at it like that. And talk about the coolness factor and the quality of life that you get to have when you focus on something like this. So this is by far the most powerful exercise you can do in your life for your business.
Oh yeah.
And then what we do is I don't want to. Do you talk about READ at all? Reduce, eliminate, automate, delegate.
No, I'm not going to. I don't have that in here.
So one of the things that we do as a team, Richard and I talk all the time, and one of the things we do is it's called a READ, and it's R period, E period, A period, D period. So it's reduce, eliminate, automate, or delegate everything else that's not inside your 20. And one of the exercises we do is so take whatever you made last year, divide it by 2,080, and go, all right, would you pay somebody that much to do whatever you're doing in that 80%? And most of the time people say, no, I wouldn't pay somebody that much.
Right.
Well, the problem is you are, because you're doing it. And if people go, well, I don't have an assistant, and the reason is because you are the assistant. So
exactly.
That's where life gets really fun.
It really does, and it's not as difficult as it sounds. It really isn't. It's just doing the right exercises and then going from there. And so you either eliminate doing something or you delegate it. And so 3 years ago I didn't have a team. It was me by myself, just like most realtors and most loan officers. And when you start focusing on that 20% and you start eliminating things that don't matter, and you start leveraging that 20% that is bringing the business, and then like you said, each time I've hired somebody, it hasn't cost me anything. I mean, I pay them, I pay my team members, but it's not costing me money because we're a team and we built the business to cover that, so they're actually free. So and then
what Richard just said there, and this is so powerful. It's not what is it going to cost you to hire the person, it's what is it going to cost you to not hire the person.
Exactly.
Because if you hire the right person with a very detailed list of what they're supposed to do on a daily basis, your income will go up dramatically. And that is
guaranteed.
That's been proven over and over and over again, guaranteed, yes.
Yep. So awesome. So one of the things that I do, and I do this religiously, is my time blocking. And so, like I said, I do have a virtual assistant now that runs my entire calendar, but and I use actually just changed, but the best calendar to use is Google Calendar, only because it allows you to set alerts. So because when you first start, you've got to get into a habit of it. So they do. You can set up a text alert, an email alert, and also you can set up an alert that'll just stop your computer. You won't be able to do anything else unless you say yes or no to that alert. So on all my appointments, I put in a calendar, just like you guys. If you have an appointment with a potential seller for a listing, or you have an appointment with a potential buyer and you're sitting either at a coffee shop or across the room in a conference room, during that appointment, you respect that appointment. You're on time. You're respecting the person that you're with. You're not checking your email. You're not telling the potential seller, oh, can you hold on, I got to check my Facebook. I mean, you're not checking your email. You're not taking phone calls. You're respecting that appointment. And so what I've done is every appointment I have, I respect that appointment the same way, because that is time that I've got to stay focused. So one of the, aside from when I make an hour a day or 2 hours a day phone calls, that is a time block. That is an appointment that I'm in. And so I'm calling my past clients and I'm calling people during those 2 hours. I'm not checking my Facebook, my computer's off. I'm focusing on that. And so when and it's the same when I meet with somebody, or if there's a closing, or if have an outside appointment or teach a class or whatever it is, if you're showing homes or you have a listing presentation, it's the same thing. But what we need to do a lot better of it that does get hard is on those the other things that we do and putting them in the calendar as appointments. So on my calendar example, you can see where it says 60, 60, 30, and I'm going to go over what that is. It's kind of like flex time or time to get strategies done and things. And it's basically, it's time to focus. And really the definition of time management is eliminating distractions, because distractions are what really kill us. And so I schedule in my calendar this time for completing projects or putting together a marketing strategy. You may be wanting to put together a marketing strategy for expired listings, or putting a FSBO strategy together, or just a follow-up strategy for our past clients. You know, I talk to agents every day, and 99% of the time I ask an agent, where did your last 5 closings come from? At least 4 out of 5 are people that they know, friends, family members, people that know, like, and trust them. So why not leverage that and put together that follow-up strategy on where you're getting all your business almost. So what basically the 60-60-30, not to go too much into this, but it is our bodies go into algorithms, and that's why we're awake during the day and we sleep at night, and we go into these different algorithms. Well, it happens during the day too, and it happens with focus. And this is why sometimes, you know, I'll be driving home from work years ago, and I'll literally be like, I was so busy all day, but I had no idea what I got done. My mind was just fried. And, you know, I worked 10 straight hours, forgot to eat lunch, or, you know, just, you know, we get busy. So what this does is you work for 50 minutes and take a 10-minute break. And my 10-minute break might be just putting in my headphone and listening to music for a few minutes, or just, you know, doing something to clear your mind. Take a walk, go outside, take a walk, and then you do another 50 minutes of focused work, and another break, and then lunch. So if you do your 60-60-30 in the morning, by noon, you've gotten more done than normally you will ever get in a full day. And I will tell you that it is just amazing that when you eliminate the distractions, how focused you can get. If you're trying to work in like a real estate office where there's just people coming by all the time and interrupting, and they say that when you're focused and you get interrupted, it takes your mind 20 minutes to get back to that focused time. So one of the things that we do is we make sure that, let's just say it's your home office, or it's an office at a real estate company, or you go to a title company and borrow their office or whatever. Let's say, to eliminate distractions, I'll just kind of go over what I do real quick. I have a sign on the door, and it says, in an appointment, do not disturb, whether it's at home or whether it's at the office. It is a do not disturb it. The only way that someone can come through that door is if the building or my house is burning down. And so if I'm working on a strategy that does not require, I'm not going to be making phone calls, then I give my phone to somebody else. And I tell them in an hour I'll be done, and then I'll get my phone back. My computer's off, everything's shut off. I even went as far as in my office, I'm on an hour call time block with just calling my past clients, and I'm using my cell phone, so I unplugged the regular phone because even the little red light flashing would distract me. So everything, try to eliminate all those distractions, and just try this one time and you will see amazing, amazing results with that focus, because, man, you can get more done in an hour of focus time than all day long with constant interruptions.
We did a study where, like, most people were spending, man, Richard, what was the number of, like, actual focused minute? It wasn't even an hour a day of focus, because we were all reacting to whatever happens, and then there's nothing focused to work on our business. And once we turned all the pop-ups off, and we turned our phones off, we turned everything off that we weren't using, and so there was no distraction. I remember you were the one that put the box over your phone, because if somebody calls you, your phone lights up. So you put a box over your phone so you couldn't see that. Turned off the ringer. I mean, so it's a big deal.
Yeah,
you go
it's
right
crazy.
from, hey, Richard, Tony Sermatis is asking, do you go right from your second 10-minute break right to lunch, so you pretty much have a 40-minute break there?
Yeah. On days that I do it in the morning like that. And I know a lot of agents are pulled different ways, and clients want to see houses at different times. And one of the rules that I have, if you look at the calendar, is if, let's just say I'm a realtor and a client calls me and says, I'm the only time I'm going to be able to see houses is from 12 to 1, and, you know, I have an appointment with myself to work on that strategy, or definitely if it's my hour a day phone calls as a realtor, because we all know if you guys want to double your business right now, just make an appointment with yourself for an hour a day, calling past clients, calling people that know, like, and trust you. You do that 5 days a week, within 2 months you're going to double your business for the year. It is just the most amazing thing, and we all know, you know, I won't get into phone calls, but what my rule is I don't, if it does get switched around because of clients, or a client needs to meet me, I can't cancel that appointment, but I can move it. So I just move it to another part of the day. But the key is being consistent with that and doing that. I don't know why I put this in, but it is a lot about action. You know, we all in our industry, we have a lot of trainings. We learn a lot of things. We go to classes. We're always continuing to educate ourselves, which is really, really good. But I saw this, I think it was Brennan Burchard. I was reading a book of his, and I heard this sentence, and I'm like, man, you know, I rewound and replayed it over and over because this was profound to me. If taking action before the perfect conditions arise, or before we receive permission, is unreasonable or reckless, then we must be unreasonable and reckless. And it really is, because the first part of that is what most of us do. We want things to be perfect before we do it, and it is just shown over and over in history, and successful people is they just did it. You know, and it may have looked like crap, or it may not have been the perfect thing when they started it, but they did it, and most people don't. So, and then as far as reckless, or, you know, receiving permission, I'm a firm believer, as long as it is, you know, I don't do anything illegal, don't get me wrong, but just do it. If you need permission later, you'll find out. If your broker didn't want you to do it, they'll let you know, and then you stop. But just do it. Don't wait around waiting for someone to give you permission. And so we are a sum of our intentions, or I'm sorry, we're not a sum of our intentions, because it's all about the actions. And so I thought that was pretty profound.
That's huge, man. Yeah, it is. Hey, question from Donna, and here's a great question. What do you suggest as a real estate agent? And Donna, we have this discussion all the time where people are continually interrupted at their office. What do you recommend for an agent to work at the office, but a closed office for all the interruptions?
I think so. So like a bullpen, like they have a lot of the bullpens. My favorite recommendation for a realtor is this: if your option is a bullpen, or even, because I've been to so many real estate offices, and I don't know how anybody gets anything done in there. I really don't. My recommendation is there are title companies all throughout the city. I can tell you right now, I could drive to any of my local title companies and walk up to the people there and say, hey, do you mind if I borrow one of your one of your closing rooms, you know, they always have extra. I do it all the time. If I'm driving and I'm like, I really need to get focused on this, I'll sit in one of their rooms with the door closed, and it is so quiet, nobody bothers me for hours. And I've talked to so many of the title companies, and they're like, yeah, I would you can come anytime you want, and any realtor could come. And so I've told people that, because if you really want to be focused and get things done, that is the way. I also know realtors that they will literally put a sign up that says, do not disturb. And another really cool trick that you can try if you are or you have to be in your office is just hold your phone and put your earbuds in your ears, and even if you have nothing on, people just assume you're either on a phone call or listening to something, and most of them won't bother you. And if someone does walk up, you just ignore them because you have the earbuds in your ear.
Yeah.
It really does work.
That works great, yeah.
Those are some cool ways. This is what I do at the end of the day, and I was going to tell you, if anybody wants this, we can upload this also, I guess. But this thing has made, oh my gosh, this has made a huge difference in work that I get done, because I fill this out at the end of the day, and it is basically my instructions for the next day. So I know exactly what I'm going to do at the beginning of work the next day. So at the end of the day, I clean my desk off, because the worst thing, I don't know if you guys have ever, it might be your home office, but you walk in and it's a mess and you just get stressed out. So I clear my entire workspace, and then I write down 3 people that I'm going to send a handwritten note to. I'll think about who am I grateful for, and I've been doing this for 3 years, and I've sent thousands of handwritten notes and thank yous, and believe me, there's always someone to be thankful for. So I write down the 3 people that I'm going to send it to tomorrow, and then my sacred 6, I think to myself, what one thing can I do tomorrow that's going to get me closer to my goals? What one thing can I do tomorrow that's going to help me, get more buyers or sellers? And so I'll write 6 things, and then I'll circle the one thing that I know, if all I get done is only one thing tomorrow, this is going to be it. And so that'll be my one thing to do. And then obviously if that one is just call so and so, then I'll move on to the next task. But some of them may be quick, I need to call this person, or some of them may be put together a FSBO strategy, and so that you don't do anything else till that one thing is done. And then the last part is the first and 10 calls. It's 10 people. I'll write their name and their phone number, and these are people that I have to call tomorrow. And it might be, it might be a buyer that I hadn't talked to in 2 years, and it's like, man, we think about it, it's hard to make that call. And I'll share just a real quick script that I use, and I've had agents use this, and not one person has ever been upset that I've called. I've called past clients that were 3 years old that I hadn't talked to. And the script, all it is, hey, I was thinking about you, and I wanted to call and say hi. And
that's it.
Everybody is happy. I've never had anybody upset. So, and what's really cool, because we like to, we love to procrastinate as people. And if I had to fill this out right now and say, okay, who are 10 people I need to call? As soon as I'm done with this list, I'm going to start making calls. Well, that past client that I haven't talked to in 3 years, I'm not writing the name down, because that means I have to do it right now. And this is kind of like a trick of the mind. When I write it down, I'm like, oh, I don't have to do this till tomorrow. So I write the name. But when that next morning comes, then I'm like, oh, man, why did I write that name? Now I have to do it. But this little sheet is, it has really, really helped keep me on track with the important things each morning, because I'm filling this out at the end of the day when it's fresh in my mind too. So it's really, really been, it's really helped out. So I'm going to put that.
Hey, Donna has a great question. How long are these calls? You want to touch on that? And says, some of my clients like to talk forever, and I know how to deal with that, but how do you deal with that, Richard?
What I do is I hope one of the things that I do, if it does drag on, because you're right, sometimes people will want to talk, is you can say it from the beginning if you can try to say it in a cool way, but sometimes I'll say, hey, I'm about to walk into an appointment, but I really wanted to call and just let you know I was thinking about you and wanted to just see how you were doing, and then blah, 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 blah. And then you're like, all right, well, kind of up front, let them know that you, or hey, I only have like 10 minutes, but I wanted to give you a call. And so, but
you
usually,
set it up front. You just kind of set the stage up front.
That's what I try to do if I...
Hey, I had a couple minutes. I was thinking about you. How's it going?
Yeah.
Man, I was just thinking about you. How's it going? I had a couple minutes. Yeah, I mean...
But you're right.
Hey,
Sometimes it is hard.
Or I just had a client walk in. Hey, I'd love to continue to chat, but I have to go. Not necessarily lie, I guess, but I guess it is kind of fibbing a little bit,
But I will say that, if you think about it, like in this case, if you're going to do an hour a day phone calls that people that know, like, and trust you, and it's a statistical fact that at least 70% of people don't answer their phone. So if this list of 10, statistically saying that only 3 or 4 are going to answer their phone, and you may be done in 15 minutes, what I'll do is I'll just continue, because my minimum is to talk to people for at least an hour, and I've moved it up to 2 hours a day with just calling people and building the relationships and
what it's all about, man.
Yeah, exactly. So, but
and then a lot of people are asking, can we upload that form to the Agent Mastermind group, the private group, Facebook group?
Oh yes, yeah, definitely. That's where I'll upload it.
Hey, question from Sandy, real quick. Do you leave messages?
Yes, I leave if it's my.
Hey, I was thinking about you. Hope all is well. Something like that.
I'll do that. If I want, if it's like a maybe not cold but warm lead, and I haven't been able to reach the person, sometimes I'll do one of two things. I will just say, hey, this is Richard. I need to talk to you real quick when you get a chance, and then that's it. Or one of the ways you can get somebody to call you back if you're having a hard time getting them is I'll say, hey, this is Richard Smith. I just wanted to call, and then I'll like end the call like it got cut off.
Right there. Yeah, so they don't know what you're going to say.
And then call you back.
I love it.
But on my time blocks, yes, I leave a message. I don't leave too much info. I just say, hey, this is Richard, just calling to see how things are going. Call me whenever you get a chance. And make it real short and sweet, because nobody wants to hear a big, long message. And nowadays, so many people, the younger group doesn't even have voicemails set up. So, we do all sorts of text message follow-up, things like that too. So, but the Sunday night ritual is just a weekly review, and it really, really helps get the week started. And I go through papers, or I'll go through my email, and I'll get it to 0. Because if you're going through your email and if there are things that I need to do during the week, the best way to do that is I either schedule it on my calendar to do, or I put it on a task list. But at least it's all out, because they say I can't remember where I heard this, but if you write everything down, all the things that you need to do, that you're able to sleep better because it's out of your mind, even though just by writing it down, and it's so awesome. So if you do that on Sunday, I review all my lists, all my calendar from last week. I see what got done and what still needs to get done, and then I review my upcoming calendar just to see what is coming up, and then waiting for lists, to review any projects, task lists, and just kind of go through all the different checklists, get them all taken care of so the week starts out right. And then, a buddy of mine always told me, to start that habit, like that success ritual, I would always forget to drink the water, or, you forget things. So try to be prepared the day before as much as you can. So I'll have a 12-ounce bottle of water sitting in my bathroom, so it's already there. So I drink it first thing, get up, drink the water. In that book, Essentialism, that I'm reading, he talks about making decisions and how our mind can only make so many decisions in a day. And I really thought this was interesting, because it's very true. The more decisions we make, and if you ever notice, by the end of the day, it's just like, man, it's just hard to make a good decision. Harder. And we run out of the ability. And so in the book, he talks about if you sit for the first 10 minutes of your day trying to figure out what you're going to wear, what suit should I put on, or what should I, wear, you're already making decisions, and that little decision bank is getting smaller and smaller, as the day goes. So anytime you can prepare anything out the night before, it makes the day just go better and gives the ability of being able to make, when you need to make a really serious decision, the ability is much better because you haven't used up those. And it sounds really corny, but it is shown that we only have so many decisions we can make in a day. So try to eliminate as many as we can. And that's kind of what.
What's funny about that dude, Mark Zuckerberg? You know why he wears the T-shirts all the time? I don't know if you know this or not.
Yeah, so he doesn't have to make
same T-shirt all the time.
Yep.
It's one less decision he has to make every day.
Exactly, and it's very true.
Man. It's simplification. It's just simplifies life, and that's dude. He's one of the richest guys in the world. But so, a couple questions. Do you have a green smoothie recipe that you would like to share? Maybe put that on the. If you guys are joining us for the first time, I put down in the chat box below the actual question box. I put down the private Facebook group that we have. It's facebook.com/groups/Agent Mastermind, and Richard's on the page, and he's more than happy to share this form with you and share his green morning drink that he has, which is awesome.
Sure.
And then what do you say? Oh yeah, so it's kind of funny when you were talking about your script, when somebody you get their voicemail and they won't call you back, you kind of end it where they don't know really what you were going to say. So more or less, hey, this is Scott, and then you just end it. So they want to know what you were going to say. The curiosity kills the cat is really what this is all about. It's
and
kind of a trick to get them to call back.
Yeah, and that's not like that's somebody that might be a kind of cool to warm lead that
right, correct.
Just hasn't called you back, because I'll tell you, they 85% of people buy after saying no 4 or 5 times. So we don't ever give up. I don't ever have the attitude, well, if they want to talk to me, they'll call me back. No, I never give up. So I will call, use every trick in the book, because 8% of sales are done by 80% of sales are done by about 8%, and those are the people that don't take no. So yeah, just just different ways, but I make it sound like I got cut off. Yeah.
Right on. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. So cool. So Richard, man, I appreciate your time, brother, and I know that we've never done a class like this before, and I appreciate you putting this together. And I know you're a believer. I know you do everything you should. I've seen you do it. So. Very, very cool to share that with us. Guys, I can't tell you how important it is to get your day right before it starts. The little thing, Richard's going to post that form up there, so the form that allows you to write down the 6 things you want to accomplish, and then he makes sure to accomplish one of them, if not all 6. 2 is he writes down the 10 people that he wants to call the following day. So there's no question what you're supposed to do the next day. Which is, if you just do that form every day, I guarantee you'll see amazing results just by calling people the next day. Awesome. So, Christine, everybody saying awesome class. Appreciate it. Richard, again.
Well, thank you.
You can never, AMM is helping me. Listen to this. So, Kristen says, AMM is helping me meet my business goals, keeping my marketing programs fresh, and giving me the chance to meet like-minded professionals. Thank you all. Agents, check out Facebook AM Group. You won't regret it. So, thank you so much, Christine. Awesome. I really appreciate the kind words. That's great. So do you slide dial when calling past clients, Richard?
I will. Well, I slide dial if I want to leave a voicemail and not talk to somebody, if I only want a voicemail. Okay. So I do that, but I do use phone burner because, I record a voicemail, use phone burner, and then the 70% of people that don't answer, they get the voicemail, and I'm on to the next person that I'm calling. So
right on.
It's awesome.
Cool. And how long does it typically take? We'll end with this question. I appreciate everybody being here. If you haven't joined us for the first time, go to facebook.com/groups/Agent Mastermind. And Karen's asking, how much time do you usually spend on your Sunday night ritual?
Sunday night, really, it only it can take up to an hour, but usually it's about 30 minutes because I'm pretty much just putting together the week ahead, and the first time you do it, it's probably going to take a while because you're really going through everything. And if anybody's like me, I write so many task lists, so many lists of things to do and strategy and things I want to do. Go through that list and just say, okay, what is essential? If I can only do 10 of them, what are those 10 things? Because we tend to often try to do way too much.
Absolutely, we do. Yeah, pick one thing, go with it till fruition, till it's done, and then guys, I can't stress how important those calls are every day to the 10 people. I know, Richard, you send out the I like you buttons. You sent me an I like you postcard. I appreciate that. You know, if you just communicate, engage, and interact, and go deep with your clients, you will absolutely, positively, without a question, double your business because they like to work with people who they know, like, and trust, and they like to refer their friends to people they know, like, and trust. And if you create an amazing experience for them, they want other people to have the same experience. So just building that deep relationship is really what people are striving for, and I don't know, it's just a great thing. So thank you so much, Richard. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
For us, and yeah, man, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me on. It's an honor.
Cool, man. I appreciate that. So, guys, same time, same place. Don't miss the next 2 weeks. We're going to have next week, we have the CEO of Savvy Card going to be on the call, and the week after that is Phone Burner. So Richard uses both of these. He's going to don't miss them. Next week, amazing class for you guys. The week after that, amazing class. Of course, we'll try to continue the content for you. And, again, thank you so much, Richard. I appreciate you, brother. Talk to you soon, my man.
All right. Thank you.
Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.